Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. We're looking at what is absolutely the highest stakes arena in the professional world, business survival. It's a harsh reality, but a massive chunk of new businesses literally just don't make it past their first few years. And why is that? People always point fingers at a lack of market need, fierce competition, or, just plain bad timing. But today, we're getting down to the foundational root cause beneath all those excuses. We're going to see how accounting is the literal difference between whether a business survives or completely tanks.
So really ask yourself, why do most businesses actually fail? We have this habit of romanticizing business failure, right? Blaming it on some grand strategic blunder or a product that was just light years ahead of its time. But honestly, the truth is way less glamorous. Businesses almost never die just from having a bad product. They die from ignored math. They die because the folks in charge fundamentally misunderstood their own numbers. Let's look at exactly how we're going to break this down today.
First, we'll hit the ultimate business crossroads. Then, we're unpacking the sales versus cash trap, tracing the path to failure, mapping out the path to survival, and finally, looking at why you need data over guesswork.
All right, part one, the ultimate business crossroads, a map of two paths.
Every business owner eventually stands right here at this center point, looking at a navigational compass where the road splits into two completely different directions. Down one way, it's this fractured, crumbling red road heading straight for disaster. But down the other, a smooth, flowing green road leading to prosperity. And this concept brilliantly illustrates that this isn't just some poetic metaphor. It's the literal trajectory of your company based on one single factor, whether you ignore your accounting or whether you actually understand it.
Because here is the absolute core thesis we really need to nail down. Accounting is not just about numbers. It is the fundamental tool for making smart business decisions. If you're looking at accounting as just this annoying mathematical chore, something you shove off to a tax prep guy once a year just to keep things quiet, you are already cruising down that fractured red road. Accounting is your strategic compass. It is the literal language of business survival.
Which brings us to part two, the sales versus cash trap, otherwise known as the inciting incident. This is such a relatable pitfall, and it's where so many well-meaning business owners take their very first wrong turn. We kind of tend to confuse illusion with reality. On one hand, you picture a shopping cart piled super high with sales, and it looks amazing, right? The charts are pointing up, revenue lines are fantastic. But on the flip side, you've got this heavy, locked company safe with a massive question mark hovering right over it. That right there is the sales versus cash trap. Having great sales numbers absolutely does not guarantee you actually have liquid cash to survive. A full shopping cart literally means nothing if your safe is completely empty the second payroll comes due.
And that kicks off part three, the path to failure, which is all about ignoring accounting.
You see, the descent into failure rarely happens overnight. It's a compounding, step-by-step slide. Step one, like we just talked about, is falling for that shiny illusion of sales while totally ignoring cash. Because you aren't tracking a real cash position, you stumble right into step two, making blind choices based purely on guesswork. You end up hiring way too fast, or maybe buying a ton of unnecessary inventory. And that leads directly to step three, total failure due to poor financial management. It's just a vicious domino effect of disastrous decisions.
When this cascade hits, the reality is pretty grim. We're talking about a sinking ship taking on water fast. We're talking boarded-up buildings with giant closed signs. Basically an absolute black hole swallowing everything up. This is the ultimate cost of losing control of your numbers. Again, most businesses don't go under because the market shifted unexpectedly. They fail because poor financial management drove the ship straight into the rocks.
Let's move to and see how this builds into part four, the path to survival, and really understanding accounting.
To successfully navigate that smooth green path, there are three absolutely essential survival mechanisms you've got to implement. First off, you need to know your true profit. And listen, this is not just your revenue. It's identifying exactly what's actually working and what's not so you can maximize real earnings. Second, you've got to master cash flow management to keep the lights on and stay operational. And third, you need to use data-driven decision-making to map out future growth. These three pillars, they are the absolute antidote to the failure trap we just looked at.
And the best part is, this isn't just a flat line. It's a massive upward trajectory. By pinpointing your true profit, really tracking the actual coin stacking up next to your spreadsheets, you gain a solid foothold. Then, by keeping that liquid cash moving, you start building real momentum. And finally, by planning for future growth using hard data, you get this incredible compounding effect of strategic advantage. You aren't just surviving anymore, you are completely setting the stage to thrive.
Think of healthy cash flow kind of like a literal moving river.
Liquid cash gets pumped up into a water tower, flows back down, and wraps completely around a thriving, bustling city. It has to be this continuous closed-loop cycle, because if that river ever stops flowing, the entire infrastructure dries up and dies. Cash flow management isn't just glancing at a bank balance every few weeks. It's actively managing the currents of that river to make sure your day-to-day operations never, ever run dry.
Finally, we arrive at Part 5, Data over Guesswork, the navigational compass.
So, the crucial point is that it all comes down to a very stark contrast. If you're on the failure path, it's literally like wearing a blindfold and just hurling darts at a chart covered in big red X's. That's guesswork. Without accurate numbers, you're just making blind choices that are actively sabotaging your growth. But switch over to the survival path, and suddenly you have a dashboard packed with clear analytics, and you're looking through a telescope aimed squarely at a break-expanding city skyline. That's real financial data. It actually gives you the vision to look ahead and plan strategically. So, I want to leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Take a hard look at your own operations today. Are you steering your business with a reliable navigational compass, driven by clear accounting and actual data? Or are you stumbling around with a blindfold, throwing darts, and just hoping you don't crash into the rocks? Always remember, accounting is the absolute reason businesses survive or die. It really is the difference between going down with a sinking ship or building a thriving city skyline. And the choice of which path you walk, well, that's entirely up to you.